they're talking about starting off TNA, right? How, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's dad went into business with each other because Vince McMahon told Jeff Jarrett on live TV, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Because he allegedly stuck him up for more money than he was owed. So yeah, he ain't coming back. So Jeff was like, all right, cool. I guess I'll create my own little thing. And he works with his dad to create TNA. Now, they have a few talking heads on here, and as soon as they were like, well, Jeff Jarrett was like, I need to come up with a name for this new wrestling company I'm gonna do. I knew it. I don't think I knew. But I knew. All I hear is, it was me, tits and ass. It was me. I came up with TNA. Like Vince Russo, outside of Vince McMahon monopolizing the wrestling business and, sexually abusing some of his co-workers, allegedly. Outside of that, Vince Russo is the worst thing that ever happened to the wrestling business. Like, it's hands down. Hands down. Like, it's not even close. Like, this nigga, they start this wrestling company, right? In 2002. It's supposed to be an alternative. I'm gonna say that again. An alternative to WWE. Right? And so Jeff Jarrett, who has the opportunity to hire anybody as a writer, hire anybody, he hires Vince Russo, the same man that helped break down WCW. But you wanna know why Jeff Jarrett called upon Vince Russo to start his company? Because Vince Russo, when he went to WCW, made Jeff Jarrett the main character. He made him the top star, the world champion. So, this is all allegedly. I'm gonna read through all the bullshit they trying to tell. Jeff Jarrett talking about, I need someone that was loyal, that I knew, da. No, you hired Vince Russo because you knew that he wasn't gonna give you no runaround. He wasn't gonna really give you any pushback about you being the top champion. Let's all be honest here. You can see that from the first episode of TNA. Like, you can look this up on YouTube. They got the episodes on there. You can tell from the jump, oh, there's some bullshit right here. Like, they talking about how, oh yeah, we was Jeff Jarrett. Oh yeah, we was making content for everybody. We was making content for everything. You got a little traditional wrestling here. You got a midget, jerking off in the trash can here. A midget in the ring with a gun here. You got a few little different things here and there, and it's for everybody, baby. I said, no, nigga, this is not wrestling. And Vince Russo, I didn't even know this clip existed. As soon as I saw it, I got pissed. He's talking to Mike Tenay, talking about, nobody want to see no flippity-doo-dah 40-minute matches. Nobody want to see that shit. I said, nigga, Vince Russo, oh my God. If I had one wish, nigga, if I could blip somebody off the face of Earth, like outside of, like terrorists and things like that, like if I could blip somebody off the face of Earth, Vince Russo talking about, you don't understand, bro. I'm running a television show, bro. You don't understand. Nigga, do you not understand what the purpose of you running a show? What are you supposed to do? Help bring eyes to the product. Help sell the product. That's what your television is supposed to do. You're supposed to want them to come back and buy whatever content you're doing, like your weekly pay-per-views, your monthly pay-per-views, your weekly television merchandise. You're supposed to help create stars because you're writing them. Like, wrestlers can't just go out there and just do stuff all willy-nilly. You gotta write stuff for them. So this whole, I'm just a TV writer. I don't try to give me any responsibility about people's livelihoods and jobs and rate. Like, it's like, nigga, let's get back to Jeff Jarrett real quick. So yeah, they talk about him, how they had a rough start. he tried to get this financial backer. The financial backer eventually was found out to be cooking the books, so he had to find another way to back his project in TNA. He winds up calling upon Dixie, who was head of PR, and then his connection with Dixie led him to her father, which he would wind up being the biggest financial backer of TNA. Whoop-de-whoop, wada. And so they tell this story, right? From episode 1 to 3 of the constant power struggle between Jeff Jarrett and Dixie Carter. And so Dixie Carter declined, didn't want to be in this doc. And so they tore Dixie Carter out the frame, nigga. Ha damn. I ain't see a job this bad, like a talking to this bad since Ultimate Warrior, the self-destruction of Ultimate Warrior. For those that have that DVD or saw that, they tore Warrior out the frame. Bro, the way they talked on Dixie, I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just saying the way they did Dixie, bruh, that was a verbal lynching they did with Dixie Carter. Shit. Also, someone who also was visibly not there, noticeably not there, Jarrett-Angle. We're gonna get to that in a second. But yeah, so they talking about the struggles of the first couple years, trying to get noticed, doing weekly television, all that. And they talk about how some of the fans were a little perturbed about Jeff Jarrett always being around the title, always being the world champion, always being the focal point of the show. And Jeff Jarrett, actually, I do kind of believe this. Jeff Jarrett said, well, I trust me. I trust that I'm not going to stick myself up for money. I'm not going to go to the competition. So I had to, keep the title on me until I found a suitable person to take my place, which will eventually become Jarrett-Angle. Now, I want to tell y'all that was watching TNA during this time, Jeff Jarrett is full of shit. He's full of shit. Because there were a lot of guys that you could have put that, well, not a lot. Okay, I'm dragging it. But there were some really good choices you could have made to make your top champion, whether babyface or heel. You had Abyss, Monty Brown, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. That's like a core four for me. Like your core four, the pillars, Abyss, Samoa Joe, Monty Brown, AJ Styles, like they could have been your champions. But no, it had to be Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, who was never a top guy, even though they gave him the world title in WCW, he was always seen as a mid-carder. So you know what that made TNA look like? A mid-card show. Because if Jeff Jarrett is your top guy, then what is the rest of your roster? Respectfully. I know Jeff Jarrett tried hard, but he's just not it. He just wasn't it. But they eventually get past that. And they talk about Jarrett-Angle coming in there and basically taking his spot as the top guy in the company, which Jarrett-Angle did, and the struggles that Jarrett-Angle was going through, and how they never really talk about how he was really effed up. Like he was really messed up. Like he was on them pills. He was popping on kind of stuff. He was a mess. But when the lights are on, Jarrett-Angle gave you a show, and that's true. That is true. I still to this day I don't know how Jarrett-Angle is alive, because he was doing a lot. Like if you watch his documentary, I forget I think it was on Peacock. He has a documentary about his life. Bro, I don't know how that nigga's still here. But anyway, they talk about Jarrett-Angle basically taking over and bringing in his we all thought his wife, Karen Angle, basically to be babysitter to Kurt, because Kurt was just in a bad way. And this is where, again, I gotta call. So Jarrett-Angle, for the first time, talks about the relationship between him and Jeff Jarrett and how her and Jarrett-Angle were separated. They weren't together since like 2006. So they were playing this couple on TV and in real life, to keep up appearances, because that's what Jarrett-Angle wants. Now, again, we ain't hear from Jarrett-Angle. That's what Karen said. And I'm not fully believing what she's saying. But I'm gonna tell you where I feel it's real cat. And so they talk about how Jeff Jarrett loses his wife to cancer, and I remember that time. That was a very difficult time. As much as I didn't care for Jeff Jarrett as the wrestler, as a person, it's like, damn, that's tough. And I remember vividly Slammiversary 2007 when he did his first appearance after losing his wife. That was really tough. So I'll give Jeff Jarrett that. Like, bro, he was yeah, that's tough to go through. Even Scott Steiner was going crazy. Like, he was crying, talking about Jeff Jarrett's wife who passed. Like, everybody have nice things to say about Jeff Jarrett's wife. And that's dope. Here's where I'm gonna start calling Cap again. So we talk about how Jarrett-Angle was on TV a lot, but then eventually she just got tired of being on TV, and she decides to get off the road. And Jeff Jarrett, they tell the story of Jeff Jarrett calling Jarrett-Angle because Jeff Jarrett wanted to get Jarrett-Angle back on TV, and he fought for Kurt Angle. You know, be like, man, I think Kurt Angle and Karen need to get back together. You know, I was trying to play the good guy and the peacemaker and trying to see if there's any way you can get back together with Kurt. You know, the Bible say, I said, as soon as I heard, you know what I said, as soon as I heard the Bible say, I said, nah, nigga. No. I see what you trying. Nah. I see what you trying to do. Talk about, yeah, I was fighting for Kurt. So you were fighting for Kurt so much, how'd you wind up sliding and hurt? Make that make sense to me. Oh, we just formed a relationship. We, became good friends. And all that. Man, please. Nigga. So I creep. Yeah, just keep it on the down low. And see, and here's the thing. I honestly don't care. But here's the thing. This could have went left bad. I understand how Karen says Kurt and her were separated. Kurt was doing his own thing, getting a little uchi wally from time to time from other women, so she felt like she could do whatever she want. That's fine. I'm not policing nobody punani. What I'm saying is, you going forward with Jeff Jarrett, who is not only Kurt Angle's co-worker, but basically his boss, was some bullshit. I don't know if it was some get back. I don't know if it was some vengeful stuff. I'm just saying that was foul. That was foul. You don't do that, bro. And no, you don't do that. You don't go. I don't care. It's on Jeff too. You can't do that. I don't even give a damn if Kurt Angle's like, I'm fine with it. You don't do that's just code. That's not even bro code. That's not woman code. That's just a code. You don't go out with another. You don't go up with a motherfucker's ex-wife. You don't go after a co-worker's manager. Like, you don't do that, nigga. That was some bullshit. That was foul. I don't care how they slice it. They can talk about how in love they are, even today. Fine. What is love? Like, that's fine. That's fine. But still, that was foul. That was some foul shit. Now, speaking of foul shit, Dixie Carter. Dixie Carter was on some Game of Thrones shit. She was trying to give Jeff Jarrett all the way out of there, bro. Jeff Jarrett, who has his faults, but did fight for the guys, fight for the boys and the girls to try to create opportunities for a lot of people. And shout out to Kia Stevens, aka Awesome Kong, who to this day I feel like Awesome Kong is one of the most missed opportunities ever. Awesome Kong should have been on a Roman Reigns, Athena level 4 or 5 year run as champion, and they should have made her unstoppable until you find the woman you want to have her beat her. But like Awesome Kong, nigga, was special. And I love Kia Stevens talking about, yeah, I thought Dixie Carter was cool. Like, I thought she was for the women. I'm glad to see women in places of empowerment. Trying to find out that she ain't really trying to pay women. I go in there trying to get a little pay raise, talking about, man, I could barely, I barely make enough for a McDonald's manager. Kurt ain't gonna make it $1 million. I ain't counting on nobody's pockets. I'm just saying, Kurt making $1 million, I think I deserve at least 1/10 of that. And Dixie Carter says, yeah, that's cool, but yeah, we can't do it. We ain't got it in the budget. Meanwhile, we got all these XWE guys coming in, ain't doing jack shit. Been getting all this money. Meanwhile, the people that were there from the beginning are the hardcore, are the guys that are holding the company down from week to week, year to year, are getting treated like dog shit, like they're leftovers or whatever. Like what? And so yeah, Kia Stevens, Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, Taylor Wilde, ODB, like got to work. I'm not saying all of them had to, but having to work at the mall or work at the bar while they're on TV, like that's embarrassing, bro. Not to say there's anything wrong with working there, but if you got all this money for these XWE guys and ex-WCW guys, but you ain't got money for the hard working men and women that actually help building your company, something ain't clean in the water. So Dixie basically let it be known that she wants to be front facing. She's going to the shows. She's shaking hands and shit. Like she's acting like she's goddamn a politician. And so Dixie Carter and Jeff Jarrett are kind of having disagreements. Jeff Jarrett wound up having to break ties with Jerry Jarrett, his father, because his father hated Vince Russo's guts because he was such a non-traditionalist compared to Jerry Jarrett, who was a traditionalist. So, and to this day, I don't understand why Jeff Jarrett, like, he tries to play both sides. Like, oh well, I think there's a balance. You could do some things and do some. It's like, bro, it became WCW all over again. You were doing a lot of illogical storylines. You were doing inconsistent character work. Like, this is what it's like, come on, Jeff. Like, you have to like that type of stuff to continue to okay that. And like, it's your company. You can be like, no, we're not doing that. But so that's what's so annoying about Jeff. Like, he tries to play both sides too much. Like, come on, bro. Like, you were clearly a Vince Russo guy. You allowed him to get away with a lot. I don't like that. But yeah, so I talk about Dixie Carter, eventually get to a point to where she's really trying to be head nigga in charge. And so she was waiting for a moment. You know, she got Kevin Nash, soothing her on the back and stuff, getting her drunk and stuff. I ain't saying Kevin Nash did anything. All I'm saying is Kevin Nash how to know how to play the game, trying to say all the nice little things, and how Dixie Carter was probably really gullible and was a money mark who just, liked to hear what she wanted to hear. So Dixie Carter goes to a house party that Jeff Jarrett is throwing, sees Jarrett-Angle there, and is in shock. And she's cussing out Vince Russo after the party, like, why didn't you tell me? And she writes up this letter to be like, Jeff Jarrett gotta be on leave. Now, I will say this. I'm not mad at Dixie Carter. They can try to paint her as evil all they want. I agree with Dixie Carter. Again, you are in a position of management. You can basically control Kurt Angle's fate as a creative, as a writer. Yes, you are in the wrong for getting with his ex-wife. I don't care what you say. There's nothing you can tell me to say that they're in the right with that. So I'm not mad at her for doing it. I still think she's slimy as well, though, because she just clearly, she didn't give a damn about the company for real. It was just a reason to get Jeff Jarrett out of there. Because as soon as that happened, what does this bum ass nigga do? She does that whole town meeting with her talent and televises it, saying it's my way or the highway. You like it or leave it. Making everyone look lesser than, making everyone look like a geek, while she's showing, now I'm the person in charge. That was a bitch made move. That wasn't cool. That was not cool by Dixie. That was a bitch made move, bro. And from there, a lot of us fans were like, we're in trouble. You're seeing stuff backstage where producers are telling fans, hey, you're part of the show. You gotta cheer who we want you to cheer and boo who we want you to boo. Like, you gotta participate. Like, oh shit. I think that was like around 2009 before Hogan and Bischoff got in there. Like, oh shit, here we go. Karen and Jarrett really trying to get a lot of stuff off here. I'm like, bro, stop it. Oh, it's a love story. Like, stop it. Stop. Dixie Carter, like, hot damn. Like, we had a good thing going too. Like 2008, 2009 wasn't perfect, but we were finally going in the right direction, even though, you made Mick Foley champion and you had the whole, Jersey Shore bullshit stuff going on. But still, it was cool. But, yeah, Dixie gets Jeff Jarrett out of there. But then she's like, I think I need Jeff to try to get Hulk Hogan because in her brain, which I'm pretty sure is probably like Kevin Nash or someone in her ear, say, you know how we gonna get better, bigger? We need to get Hulk Hogan, the biggest name in wrestling. And she's probably like, yeah! And so she goes to try to get Hulk Hogan, but before she does this, she calls up Jeff Jarrett to be like, hey, can you help me to get in a meeting with Hulk Hogan? And Jeff Jarrett, nigga, like grow some balls, bro. Respectfully. I understand you got a family you trying to feed, you trying to get your way back in. But Jeff Jarrett gonna go into the meeting with Dixie Carter with nothing signed, just be like, hey, can you come with me? Like he's a passenger princess or some shit. But like, bro, you gotta set up a deal, be like, yo, I'll go to the meeting, but I need something running that I get my job back, or you're gonna pay me for this meeting. If not, you can go by yourself. Like, set it, like, come on, bro, you been in business too long to be played the way you was by Dixie. So he comes in with Dixie, and Hulk Hogan has Bischoff there, which he didn't know that was a thing. And Hogan's like, yeah, we need to do this, And Jeff immediately peeped, oh, this nigga don't know shit about TNA. We're in trouble. And Jeff was right. And Jeff, a gullible ass, talking about, yeah, I thought, Dixie was going to let me back in, but she wound up letting me go. Ha, damn. So Hulk Hogan and Bischoff come in there, change everything, takes away the six-sided ring, which made them unique, takes away a lot of the talent to bring in Hulk Hogan's buddies like Bubba the Love Sponge and Nasty Boys, and completely change everything to go live on Monday nights during WrestleMania season and go live on Monday when their days were Thursday. Like, Eric Bischoff was a one-trick pony, a one-hit wonder. He had the NWO, and that's the only thing he had. Outside of that, he is the most unsuccessful wrestling creative promoter executive ever. Hulk Hogan, we all know who he is, how he gets down. He's a selfish, narcissistic, egomaniac that only cares about himself. He could have cared less about TNA. They come in there, they mess up so much stuff. Like, we'd be here for 3 hours if I talk about all the bullshit Hulk Hogan did, how they treated Abyss, making him a goddamn basically specially challenged. They turned AJ Styles into Ric Flair. Like, they did so many dumb stuff. The Hall of Fame ring, like, for people that were around, it was horrible. They turned Jeff Hardy heel, who was the biggest fake. Like, they did a lot of dumb stuff. ECW brought that back for no dumbass reason. They did a lot of dumb stuff. And they talk about how, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, had his head up Hulk Hogan's ass so much he could tell you what Hulk Hogan had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Eric Bischoff rode on Hulk Hogan's coattails so long, nigga, like, women don't even ride dick that good like the way this nigga's riding Hulk Hogan. Like, bro, Eric Bischoff, he was a one-trick pony, bro. One-trick pony. Come in there and talk about, reminded me of WCW 94. Like, nigga, it's not. You don't have the budget. D-Lo's like, nigga, we barely have a pyro budget. This is not WCW 94. Your daddy, your work daddy, Ted Turner, had unlimited funds. He could do whatever. He could get whatever talent. There were 20,000 people in the arena. This is not WCW, my nigga. This is still a startup from the ground up company. You got to build it up. Like, Hogan and Bischoff did not understand that, or they probably didn't even care. Because they were just, they were probably bored. They needed an easy lick and got paid for like 4 years for doing nothing. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, I'm still pissed off about that. And Dixie Carter trying to get Jeff Jarrett back in, now exploit his relationship between Karen and Kurt. Like, bro, Dixie Carter was a lot. A lot. But Jeff Jarrett ain't off the hook either, nigga. Jeff Jarrett ain't off the hook because, again, you allowed a lot of stuff. Even at its peak, you allowed a lot of stuff. You wasted a lot of prime Samoa Joe, a lot of prime AJ Styles. You and Vince Russo wasted a lot of great talent. The women's division, you want to talk about the knockouts? You wasted a lot of talented people. You did. And so, I just find it funny how they try to paint Dixie as a bad woman. No, she was bad. But I'll put you right up there with her, nigga. Straight up. You the one that decided to get rid of your own dad for Vince Russo. You the one that decided to go with Dixie in the first place. You the one decided to go along with her to get Hulk Hogan. You did that. Nobody forced you to do that. You did that. You the one decided to be a dumbass and get with your top talent ex-wife. You did that, nigga. So I don't want to hear about how horrible Dixie Carter is. You deserve to be right along there with her, nigga. So yeah, I find it funny how we're trying to paint Dixie as the bad guy. Jeff Jarrett need to be right along with him. If you weren't so focused, the problem with TNA is they were so focused on what WWE was doing that they became basically a lesser Temu WWE. They were not an alternative. All their storylines were like WWE's type storylines. It was not about the wrestling. People wanted to watch wrestling. They were supposed to be an alternative. So yeah, they got a lot of stuff off. They really did. But people that were there from the beginning, people that were around, people that were hardcore fans, nah, nigga, we're not allowing you to get a lot of that stuff off. Again, I appreciate Jeff Jarrett because he could have just said F everything and not created TNA, but he did. And we probably don't see AJ Styles or Samoa Joe or a lot of these folks, Abyss, a lot of these talented women, Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, like a lot of these men and women we probably don't see. It was not for TNA. I mean, they might go to ROH, but there was a limited promotion at the time. Like, let's go overseas. So I will give Jeff Jarrett credit because you did sacrifice a lot. You put your money into it. You basically put your whole life into it. You sacrificed a lot. I will give you that because I won't sound like I'm just bombing on him. He did a lot, but he could have been better. And they were capping in a lot of things they were doing because he tried to play like he was this, oh gosh, all shucks type of guy that just things just happen. Things just happen. No, you made decisions. You made poor decisions, bad decisions that led to different things. So let's keep that in mind too. Yeah, just TNA, the gift and the curse, bro. There was a gift and a goddamn curse. Hulk Hogan, that's son of a bitch. I can't believe that nigga really came in there talking about, we gotta get rid of the ring, brother. It's what's best for you. I can't believe he told Abyss, this Hall of Fame ring, give me power, brother. Like, I need you, Abyss, to become the monster. I know you can be. Like, really, nigga? Talk about Bobby Roode. I don't know if Bobby Roode can be the guy yet. I don't know. Hulk Hogan, what the fuck would you know about? You know what? Never mind. Because I could go on a whole rant about Hulk Hogan because that nigga, god dang, nigga. That nigga know how to mess up. I don't give a damn if he dead. Well, let me know your thoughts if you saw it. What are your thoughts? Who's really to blame? Or do you think Jeff Jarrett really tried his best to make TNA the second? Well, it was number 2 for a good little while. It was the number 2 promotion in wrestling, but you think Jeff Jarrett could have did better, or was his hands tied? Dixie Carter, does she deserve a lot of blame? Who deserves the most of the blame? Is it Jeff Jarrett? Is it Dixie Carter? Is it Vince Russo? Is it Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff? Let me know. I might put a poll on YouTube about that. Me personally, I gotta go with the head of the snake. It's gotta be Jeff Jarrett. Because at the end of the day, you put all these people in position. Like, you really think about it. He put Dixie in position. He put Vince Russo in position. He put Hogan in position. You don't do that meeting, they probably don't even sign. So it's all on Jeff, bro. It's all on him. So he's the one that put people in position. So the person you have to blame for the downfall of TNA has to be him. No different from the rise of TNA. You have to put it on him. Because at the end of the day, he's the one that's in position. And I think the biggest thing they talked about is a lot of people didn't know who was the boss. They didn't know if Jeff was the boss or Dixie was the boss. And I forget who it was. Somebody backstage was calling Jeff Jarrett the boss, and Dixie was like, don't ever call that man the boss. I said, ooh. Dixie Carter was on a power trip now, wasn't he? Wasn't she? Hot damn, Dixie. Ooh, hot pants. Okay. But yeah, bro, that's crazy, bro. I don't know how TNA survived as long as it did. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share all the things are the things. Welcome to the hot bitch. Then Sands Arcade, your hardcore casual fan. If you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.